Hey guys, I'm Master Perch. I've been playing Viper since the game officially launched, and I honestly think she's very underrated. I believe most, if not all, the lineups in this video are essential to know to fully utilize her kit and to get the dub. I hope this lineup guide helps current Viper mains and encourages others to pick her up. Enjoy! So starting off with Ascent. Ascent's one of my favorite maps personally. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I would just like the mix-ups that Viper has. She can pretty much hold any site here. I really like this one way. This isn't my one way, but this is the only one way I've been able to find from, for A. That's consistent anyway. If you hug the buy barrier, you'll see this little triangle right here in the ground, in the pavement. Just line up where your crosshair's in the middle of it. Put out your smoke. You see this little black line right here. You're gonna get to the bottom of it, jump and right click, and that gives you a one way for heaven. As you can see, I have a lovely assistant with me today. He's going to be demonstrating how these work.
Poison orb emitting.
And there you go. As you can see, I can see his feet, and he can't see me whatsoever.
What a way to die.
Easy peasy. Now this next one way, I really like this if you're holding cat as Viper. You come over to here, in the tree, and you see this this little nook in the rocks here, this little corner. Put your crosshair in there, and you could aim right in the middle here, but I actually like to go into the middle of this like little pane of glass here. It's right there. Jump and right click. Hello. And now you have a one way for cat. As you can see, I can see his feet there going across. There we go. So this next smoke is really good if you want to be a little bit more aggressive and you want to peek out from cat and get some free picks. You just come over to these boxes and garden, get on top of here. And this might be a little hard to see on video, but there's a darker brick right here. You line up where that darker brick meets this like bold line right here. Another way you can line it up is you see this little arch back here and this arch that's closer to you. You just line up where that arch meets the arch that's closer to you and go straight up. You should get about the same spot. It's not exact, but then what is exact though is how you throw. You had to jump and slightly delay your throw. That should be it. Yep. And now, as you can see his camera there, you have a little one way. Easy peasy. He couldn't see anything until he gets about there. It's a really good one way. And now if I'm holding mid and I want to be a little bit aggressive, I'll come up to this buy barrier here. You see how you can just barely see this roof peeking over? You go to the corner, and I like to go a little bit to the left here, about there. So when the buy barrier goes down, you just jump throw.
Poison orb emitting.
And that should smoke top of cat. As my lovely assistant will show you, very clearly cannot see anything. And I can push out through here over to B main. And now for this next one in mid. I didn't come up with this lineup, but I just thought I ought to share it with you, you know, just in case. You come into this corner here. You should about line up with the edge of the stairs, or the stair rather. If you have the buy barrier, it makes it easier. And you see this line in the window here, not the thicker one, but the one right above it. You follow that line until you're on the right side of this pipe here, about there. So when the buy barrier goes down, you can left click throw, and lands right up there. And now, I could see his feet there for a split second. It's not the best one way in the world, don't get me wrong, but it definitely does help and scare people. Yep, as you can see, I can see him right there. I aimed a little bit too high, but yeah, that was a one way. And now for B. This is a really good one way, kind of for just solo holding B. If you hug the buy barrier, you come right over here. You'll see this oddly shaped stain in the floor. You just line yourself up with that while hugging the buy barrier. And you want to get pretty much as close to the corner as you can without being in the corner, otherwise it bounces off the buy barrier and won't always stick there. I like to go about here. Jump, right click. Now if you come up to market,
Isolate and exterminate.
my lovely assistant
Poison orb emitting.
will show you that he cannot see while we can. Hopefully. Yep. Easy peasy.
That was poisons off.
And now for attacking A. I really like this smoke because it smokes off all of heaven and it pairs really well with a wall I can show you. So if you line up with the bottom left of this drainage vent over in A lobby, and you'll look up and you see this cloud with this sharp point right here, go to the point and go straight down until you're level with the tip of this spike. So again, here, straight down until you're level with the tip of the spike. Left click. And that should land right on top of those boxes. And this pairs really well with a wall like that.
Toxins going up. Poison orb emitting.
As you can see, my lovely assistant was in heaven, and now he can't see us. And we can actually use this to maneuver our way around heaven and kill him if he's up there. Easy peasy. Really good for attacking site. So this next lineup is going to help you smoke tree. I like to do this one if I plan on lurking while my team wants to push A main. Because, you know, when you do this, the people in tree are going to be worried about the people in A main, not necessarily you lurking up cat. I also like doing this if I have another smoke character on my team and don't want them to waste their smokes and want to save one for post plant. So, a lot of people already know about this, but if you jump onto this bike and you're not bad like me, you can jump onto these boxes. Obviously, you know, make sure you clear out A main and A cubby before you do this, but it's nice to have some teammates watching your back. Hop over here, hug that back wall, and walk until your crosshairs flush with this edge here. You see this big old wooden beam right here? You're gonna line up slightly to the left of the middle. It's not that important. And you're gonna line up until you're at the bottom of this little pop out right here in the roof. You'll see what I mean when I line it up. So again, here's the middle. I like to go a little bit to the left just to be safe. Straight up. So you're about level with that. Jump throw. And in theory, that should...
Poison orb emitting.
smoke off a tree.
We're done here.
So for this next one way, I'm not a huge fan of this one, but I use it every now and then. I just don't really like the positioning of it. But if you go up here in heaven, and you line up here, on this yellow strip where it's broken, right in the middle, the smoke is actually going to land right there, so I like to aim a little bit below, about there. Jump right click. It lands right there perfectly. And you get over here, and actually, if you didn't know this, when you crouch here, if you're hugging this wall, oops, when you let go, if I can get it, there you go. See how this is where I'm crouching? You actually pop up ever so slightly. It's not that important, but it helps with the one way a little bit. So you just hug that wall all the way to the back corner. Smoke goes up. And now, as you can see, he still can't see me even all the way over here. I can still see him clear as day, and now he's gone.
Poison's off.
And now for a post-plant molly. This molly is really good if you play in cubby like I frequently do as Viper. My lovely assistant will be showing you what it's like from his point of view. If you come over here, and you line up with this corner, you see this cloud up here. I like to think it looks like a thumbs up. You go to the thumb, you go follow it to the right until you're about the middle of this awning here. Fire. I shoot 2 usually, but even when I don't, there you go. And now they can't defuse. And now for the all-important mid control. Key to winning every Ascent game. You come over to this pole here. This is not super precise or anything. You go into the middle of these glass panes here. and you line up straight up until you're level with the nub, the top of this nub of this roof. So again, here, straight up, about there, jump there. As you can see, my lovely assistant here is peeking cat, ready to murk me. If I go back and activate this, he doesn't get to see anything. I get to push up cat for free. I get to, hop out mid and get closer, etc., etc. So as an added benefit to that last smoke, with the exact same lineup, you actually have 2 more useful smokes. So again, here, glass panes, straight up, nub. Now this time, if you take a small step and while running you throw, oopsies, got stuck there for a second. As you can see, my lovely assistant is peeking cat with an op. If I activate my smoke, now it's on top of stairs and he can't see anything there. And I can walk up through mid here and take all of mid here, mid link. But wait, there's more. Same exact lineup. Here, straight up. Now if you run, jump, and slightly delay your throw, like that, that should, in theory,
Poison orb emitting.
smoke out their spawn. So now you can push market and not have to worry about an op sitting right here.
Poison's off.
But wait, no, I'm kidding. This is actually a cat wall. I use this to bait a lot more than anything. There's not really a specific lineup. Just make sure the blue line on your minimap is going. Let me actually turn here. Is following this gray line here. About like that. And that should smoke off all the cat. I like to do this, if my whole team want to go up tree, we can do that. If we get a pick there and want to bait, as you can see, my lovely assistant is just shooting along trying to pick me. Obviously, it's harder for him. If we get a pick there, they might think, oh, they're rushing, and we can actually walk back and rotate, and here we are. And now for attacking B, I think this is a very crucial smoke. If you come over to this corner, my lovely assistant is currently sitting in market waiting for me. If you line up with the tip of this window pane and you go straight up past the wire to where the wire meets the building. So again, here, straight up where the wire meets the building. Jump and left click. Run over here. My lovely assistant is waiting to murk me.
Poison orb emitting.
I activate that. Now he can't see anything. He'd have to walk out through my smoke or walk out over here. Extremely crucial smoke. Hello.
Poison's off.
So this next one is just a wall. It's not really, I wouldn't really call this a lineup, but just to help you out. If you get into this corner where this pot is, and aim your wall crosshair in the middle of this corner of the door frame and fire.
Toxins going up.
My lovely assistant's right there, and now he's gone. And you can get onto site pretty much for free. You don't have to clear too much. And for this next one way, I actually haven't used this one in game yet, but I've been really excited to. I just found it like a day or two ago. You come up. Don't look at that. That wasn't me. You come over to this wall and be main. And you try and line up with the middle of this line in the floor while hugging the wall. And it might be a little hard to see on video, but there's a little line here in this window. You can see it clear as day in game. You just aim like pretty much at the top of the line and left click. There you go. Now if they're holding CT, you just peek out. Hello, leg. Easy peasy. And now for our post-plant situation. If you come over here, My lovely assistant and a friend of ours actually found this one. If you come over here, line up with the middle of these rocks here. You see this wooden beam? If you follow it from the middle, follow it straight up until you're level with this corner of this building. So again, here, straight up to there. It's not super precise. Jump, right click. My lovely assistant is going to come from market and come down through.
Poison orb emitting.
If I'm sitting back here, there we go. And now for another post plant one way. My lovely assistant here is going to be acting like he's diffusing. If you come into this little corner here, you aim about halfway down there on that shadow. Lands on top of those boxes. And now if you're back sight, he can't see anything, and I can see pretty much his whole body. Easy peasy. So if my team has already planted and I'm, say I was out in mid or I was lurking or whatever, and I'm over here and I'm worried about the enemy team defusing, or if I just want to kill time or whatever, I'll come over into this corner in B lobby. You see this antenna here? I like to aim a little bit to the left, and you want to go up pretty much until you're level with this corner of the building. So again, a little bit to the left of the antenna, straight up until you're about there. I like to shoot another one higher until you're about the middle of the spire there, and that should, in theory, stop them from defusing. And now for bind. I think bind is Viper's best map, especially the A site. She does a really good job of defending and pushing it. And I'm sure you've all seen the 10s one way that lands up there on those boxes. From usually they set it up from Cubby or U-Haul, but I've never seen somebody do it from heaven, and I think that's really, really important. So you see that blue line there? You're going to want to go 2 vertical black lines to the left. So that's 1 right there, and this is the second one. When you look straight down, you're going to want to line up with that little black bar right there. It's not crazy precise, it's just to make sure that when you jump, you hit your head on the roof. And you see the top rung of this sign, you're going to want to jump and throw. That should land right on top of there,
Poison orb emitting.
giving you your one way for short. My lovely assistant would be dead there if I didn't like him. There we go. Alright, and now for the showers one way that I'm sure, most Viper mains have seen. You stand in the exact same spot that you set that one way up for. 2 vertical black lines to the left of that blue line, middle of this bar, etc., etc. And you see this like pointy generator thing up above there, and that little yellow dot right in the center. You want to go to the yellow dot and the point, and go about 3/4 from the yellow dot closer to the point. And you just left click. And that should land right on top of the sign. Easy peasy. My lovely assistant will walk out, and he's dead. Easy one ways.
Poison's off.
And now for defending B. I'm not a huge fan of defending B personally as Viper, but if I have to, usually what I'll do is I'll come over to this corner during the buy phase, put my wall crosshair in the middle of the shape here, and fire. Just to give you, easy peasy screen for long and hookah, slow enemies down. Not a big deal. What is a pretty big deal though, is if you come over to this pillar here and look down, you'll see this little crack in the floor. If you follow that crack to here, right in the middle of it, at this intersection, and you look up at this wooden rung holding up the pot, look up at the base where it meets the wall, right click, should get stuck right on the edge there. And now, if you go back here,
Poison orb emitting.
my lovely assistant walks through and is dead. And now for attack, I think Viper has a lot of good smokes and walls for attack. First one being a heaven smoke from shower. This one's pretty easy. You just hug this wall, look down, and walk until your crosshair meets this rug, like that. And you'll see this triangle up here. I like to go to the point of the triangle and then just go a little bit to the right. You don't have to go to the right, it's just personal preference. And left click. Should go right through there. Land in
Poison
heaven.
orb emitting.
Now be warned, they could walk out through there and still peek you, but then they're out in the open.
Poison's off.
That smoke is actually paired really well with this wall here. Let me see if I can get it right. You hop on top of this box and you fire right there. Perfect. So now
Poison orb emitting.
I activate both at the same time. My teammate can go plant there. All we have to do is clear there, and here. And somebody can actually sit right here in this little pocket and wait for people to, you know, push through CT or whatever. Make sure nobody pushes through the smoke.
Toxin screen down.
And now for a short heaven smoke, come over here at this white log or whatever it is, stone. Look down at this corner here. And you see this little like overhang right here. You just want to aim at that, go straight up until you're level with the corner of this building right there. So again, this little overhang thing. I like to go a little bit to the right, but it really doesn't matter too much as long as you're around there. And you left click. That should
Poison orb emitting.
let him right on top of those boxes, smoking off heaven, and right back there. So now all you have to clear is here, 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 and you're good to go through U-Haul. And now for a post-plant situation. If I come over here and plant, I take my smoke, throw it right here. I'll show you how to line it up precisely after, but just to show you what it does. My lovely assistant's gonna come and defuse. As soon as I hear him hit it,
Poison orb
I'm gonna activate
emitting.
the smoke, and I can see his feet. He can't see me. And there you go.
Poison's off.
To line it up, oops, let me grab my smoke here. All you do is come into this corner, line up with this triangle in the middle of this panel. Easy peasy. And now for a really good post-plant molly, my lovely assistant's going to crouch there at the spike. If you're in showers and you say you don't want to peek it or whatever, you hop over here on top of these boxes. And you see this blackboard sign thing here. You aim at the right corner of it, or the right edge of it, and go straight up. And this might be a little hard to see on video, but this cloud has like a weird little nublet sticking out here. So again, you come here and you go up to the tip of the nublet thingy. About there. And that should, in theory, perfectly land at default. There's another one you can get right there, as my lovely assistant keeps getting murked by my poison. Where if you line up with the inside of this door frame here, I was about to say outside, and you go up about to the same spot, or like the same height, about there. This one's a little less precise. But yeah, there you go. And now for attacking B. I think B is a little harder because you don't have as many like good smokes you can throw and whatnot. But they're pretty consistent smokes either way. You see this little corner here. Sadly, you can't actually get locked in there, but you can just kind of line your crosshair up with the corner. It's not really super precise. And you see this little black line on the support beam. You go up from there, right above these solar panels. Jump and throw. And that should, in theory,
Poison orb emitting.
perfectly smoke off CT. And now for attacking long, I tend to like to go long if my team pushes hookah. I just think Viper is a pretty good lurker. But if you hold right wall here, obviously you're going to want to clear up there before you do this. And you walk forward until your crosshair meets this rock here. And you see these like weird solar panel high-tech thingies above you. The last one has this little like overhang thing right there. You just aim in the middle of the overhang and throw. And that should
Poison Poison orb emitting.
Smoke off elbow. And now, my lovely assistant here is taking a selfie. But, for a post-plant situation, I always tell my teammates to plant on the left side of the box unless it's not possible. And this is the reason. If I needed to run away or whatever, and I want to play for time, I can come over to these cactuses, and there's actually a little corner that you can get locked in right there. You see this scale on this fish here? You can actually see the spike through the wall right now, but obviously you won't be able to see that. You line up with that scale. You go straight up until you're lined up with the corner of this building. So again, this scale, straight up, lined up with the corner of the building. And fire. And that should, in theory, I'm actually going to turn on Ghost to get to it in time. Yep. Molly's default plant spot. Goodbye, my friend. And now for Haven. Haven's my personal least favorite, or second least favorite map, but I don't think it's a bad map whatsoever. Especially for Viper. Viper's really good at holding A and C. Especially if you come over here into this corner and whip out your wall and put your wall crosshair right in this corner here of that square. It's not super precise or anything, but what this does is it gives you, obviously, a wall for long, a wall for short, and this is where it gets really cool. You have a little pocket right here. Say on a pistol round you have a shorty or something. You can just sit here, and you can come over here and do the silent jump and get intel. Hello, friend. And then if I see somebody, I book it back. I can get back into this little corner here, or I can go back up, and so on and so on.
Should I use a stick next time?
After I set up that screen, I usually like to go over here and line up with this arrow. And you see where this part of this wood meets this part of this wood? Just aim at the corner there. It's not super precise or anything. Left click. That should get lodged right up there. Now if you're in heaven,
Poison orb emitting.
as you can see, he can't. I can easily see almost his entire body until he gets there or about over there. And next for B, I don't really like holding B as Viper. I think it's her worst place to hold on Haven. But if I'm forced to, I'll come over into the buy barrier and into this corner. And you see over here this little bit of red cloth right past this wall. You're about halfway up that and to the right, where the overlay meets the wall, into that corner. And as soon as the buy barrier goes down, you left click. You should get lodged right up there.
Poison orb emitting.
And my lovely assistant should be dead.
Be a hero, didn't you?
He still can't see me until about there when he's standing. When he's crouching, he should be able to see me about there. And now for Garage. I think Garage is still not the best place for Viper to hold, but it's not too bad. You can do this in the buy phase. If you hug this corner here, look up, you'll see this little yellow dot here. You see him about the center of it. Left click. Easy one way from window.
Poison orb emitting.
My lovely assistant will be walking through doors any moment. And he's dead.
Poison's off.
And now for defending C. I think C is about equally as good for Viper as A. One wall I really like to do is if you come over here and line up with this post, look up, and you can do this in the buy phase. You line up about there. Just make sure on the mini map your blue line covers long, garage, and B. And fire. And that gives you a little pocket you can sit here. If you're all the way back here, obviously they're not going to be able to see you because of the wall. You could sit right over here. It smokes garage and it smokes B. Very nice wall to have. Next is a really weird one way, and this is probably going to be one of the hardest ones to set up, but it's pretty worth it, honestly. You get in the bottom right corner of this buckle here, And you want to line up so when you walk forward, your crosshair passes through this corner. So just like that. Then you keep walking forward. Let me do it again, just to make sure you can see. Here, bottom right corner, line up, and you walk forward. Goes through that corner. And this will probably be pretty hard to see on video, but there's like a little white streak thing here. You're just gonna want to walk up to that, and where this wall meets this wood, about there, left click. It should get lodged somewhere up there. All of it, no matter where it lands up there, it is regrabbable from cubby, but it's a little tricky. Now, if you're up on top of platform, obviously, I can see his feet way before he can see me. Very useful one way.
Poison's off.
And now, if I was forced to rotate to C, if I'm afraid that they're, you know, sitting in cubby or whatever, I can come over to this corner, aim at that little white line on the trumpet, and left click. It gets lodged up there. And now if I'm over at platform,
Poison orb emitting.
I can see, you know, down here, if he walks out of cubby, he's dead. And he won't be able to see me until he's pretty far up. And now for attacking A. I've seen quite a few Heaven Smokes, but I haven't really seen one like this, and I kind of dig this one. If you hop on top of this little wheelbarrow over here, you see this post sticking out here right next to the flower pot one. You're going to aim up, or you're going to line up, rather, with the right corner of it, top right corner. And you're going to go straight up, about to the level of the corner of this building. I like to go just the tiniest bit higher, just to be safe. About there. Left click. My lovely assistant should be in heaven.
Poison orb emitting.
And this actually smokes off back of sight and hell as well. So you can clear close right, over here, around short, you know, whatever, without having to deal with back of sight, hell, or heaven. And now for some post-plant situations. You know, typically you're going to plant somewhere around here. One thing you could do very quickly is run up against here, aim right at this triangle, jump and throw. It lands right on top of the box. And if you're playing cubby here, as soon as I hear my lovely assistant defuse, I can activate it, walk up here, and he's dead. Now, usually in a post-plant situation, you're going to want to have somebody playing short or somebody playing cubby. I tend to like to be the one playing short or cubby, but when I'm playing short and say I want to play for time, I'll leave. I'll go up here to A lobby. And you're going to want to line up with the second crack in the floor. So this is the first one. This is the second one. And this actually pairs really well with that smoke I just showed you. You want to line up with this like perfectly circular divot in the ground while looking straight down. Right there. And you see the satellite up on the roof. And this metal bar right where they meet. You're going to want to aim just a tiniest bit above. Fire. And this pairs, like I said, really well with that smoke. Watch how fast he dies. Pretty much instantly. Every time. Very strong molly.
Poison's off.
Next for attacking C, if you come over here into this corner, line up with the right corner of this hay bale and go straight up to your level with this pole. So again, here, straight up to here, left click.
Poison orb emitting.
Easy little smoke for back of sight and plat. So you can make your way up here, you know, you can crouch under here and get some picks there. There you go.
Poison's off.
And now for a post-plant situation. You know, usually you're going to want somebody sitting cubby or sitting long. And, you know, let's say you have spike right there, so you can't really play for long, per se, instead of having it planted, like, right there, but you can. what you can do is come over here and line up with the middle of this painting or whatever it is, artwork. Line up with the middle of this hay bale, or sorry, the corner of this hay bale. As you can see, if we go straight up, it pretty much hits the spike. But you want to go straight up. And this is where it gets a little tricky. There's a little leaf here with a hole right there. The one right below it. So this one is very sharp leaf. So again, here, straight up to there. Fire. As you can see, I'm level with that leaf. If we go over to where the lovely assistant is pretending to defuse, he would die. Easy peasy. And now for split. I think Viper is pretty good on split because she can hold A, B, and mid pretty well. But one way I really like doing is if you come to where these two pieces of wood would meet, about there, look up at this dark line right under the blue line, about middle of the doorway, about there. Jump and right click. She'll land right up there. And if you stand down these stairs and crouch, it'll be a one-way. And next for defending mid, if you come over here, you can do this during the buy phase. If you come over here, look straight down, there's this little like glitch in the floor. You just line up with that, look up, and you see right here is where your smoke is going to land. So you go right in the middle there, straight up, until you're level with this black line right here. Pull out your smoke and left click. It should get lodged right up there, giving you a one way. There it is. For market. And next for holding heaven, I think Viper is best at holding heaven personally. But if you have a sage, usually the sage is going to want to hold heaven, so that's why we have different lineups and one ways and whatnot. If you line up in the middle of this beam here, I'm actually going to move a little bit more to the right. There we go. The buy barrier is about here, so you can do this at the beginning of the round. Line up with this corner and go right until you're in the middle of this light. Pull out your smoke and left click. Should land right on top there every time, giving you a quick little one way for heaven. And now over at B. If you come over to B main here, line up with the right side of the door, hug it and go to the left until you are about lined up with that line on this rectangle right here. Look up and you should see a big old X in the roof of B main. Obviously you can do this during the buy phase. You go to the bottom left of the X right here, go across until you're in the middle of this hole right here. So again, here, across to here, and left click. It should get lodged up there. And this is actually a really good one way because it gives you a 50-50 from over here. Or over here. Easy peasy. Great one way. And now for attacking, I think Viper does very well attacking on split, especially on A. If you come over here, on top of this box here, get in the corner, you see where this this bar connects to the support beam. Just want to go right there. Pull out your smoke, jump and throw. It should bounce off the wall and smoke off heaven. Now I like to do this smoke if I want to save like another teammate's smoke, like a brim or an omen or whatever. For post plant, if you come over on top of this plant here and look at this picture in the window, you get to the top right corner and go straight up until you're at the bottom of this bar here. Jump and left click. That should smoke off screens. And it leaves enough of a gap that they can't go elbow without you knowing. And now for post plant on A. If you come over here, Let's say you planted right there, right? You come over here, line up, and you look at the dude, the 5A, and left click. Should land right on top of the box. My lovely assistant will pretend to defuse. After you, my friend.
Poison orb emitting.
As you can see, when he starts defusing, you can very clearly see the lower half of his body. Give me a free and easy one way. And next for mid control. You can't always play market, you know, so I like having, you know, most people know good smokes already from market. I haven't seen a lot of Vipers use one-ways for, or not one-ways, sorry, lineups for sewer side. So if you come over here and walk back into this corner, line up with the this little line in the box here between the packages or whatever they are, and go straight up until you're at the top of this like guardrail up here. So again, here, straight up until you're at the top of that. It's not super precise, but when you left click, this should smoke off mid-vent pretty deep.
Poison's off.
And now for our heaven smoke from sewer side. If you come over here and you line straight up with the edge of this paper here, you see this diagonal slash in the box. You go right in the middle and go up to the tip of that box and left click.
Poison orb emitting.
That smokes off mailroom and heaven once you get to it. And now for attacking B. If you get over into this corner here, you can actually lock in and you look at this green bar right here. Aim just the tiniest bit above it, right in the middle, right about there, and left click. That should just barely get over the roof and land on heaven, smoking all of heaven off. This also technically functions as a one-way if somebody's right down there, but nobody ever actually sits there, so this allows your team to push on site pretty effectively. And now for a really useful B main molly. I like to use this molly if I'm afraid they're going to hold close left outside of B main with the judge, you know, on top of those boxes or whatever. You hug this back wall here, look straight down till your crosshairs lined up with the edge of this box, and you'll notice that this line in this wall here has a little sharp bump on it right there. You line up with the tip of that bump and go straight up, and you'll notice that this cloud right here has a little half circle taken out of it. Might be a little hard to see on video. Again, here, straight up to the bottom part of that half circle, about there, and fire. That should, in theory, land on top of B main boxes, killing anybody there, there, or close left right here. Now this is a little less of a lineup and a little more just, you know, good wall to do. If you come over into this corner B main, pull out your wall, and line up your blue line there. So it's about halfway between the gap right here at this corner of the, you know, the little signpost back there, and this edge of the pillar. Like I said, about halfway, so about there. This is just useful for taking site. You know, if you smoke heaven or whatever, your team can get over here and you can have one or two people clear over here, come back and back site, you know, clear here, while everybody else is up here planting, defending the planter, etc, etc. Just a really helpful wall. And now a really good alt spot. I like this lineup a lot. It's a little tricky, so follow along if you can, but it's a really useful alt. If you jump down onto this box here, you're always going to be want to be aiming at the bottom left of this dark spot right here with your alt crosshair, not your regular crosshair. Well, your regular crosshair is pretty much the middle of that. And you're going to want to walk forward until your wall symbol on the bottom, you know, the little utility symbol, lines up about the middle of this white thing and this red thing right here. So again, here, walk up to about there, and all. And you know you got it if you go blind like this, because that allows you to hop up here to heaven. And you have almost all of heaven smoked off, and you can have this little thing here to peek out, just like that. And then if you come to CT, you have about half of the CT stairs smoked off, so you can peek here, go down, all the way around. You actually can't be seen right here unless you have your gun out like that. If you go around like this, you're safe. Now you're all the way in CT. They actually have to get in the smoke for a second here to get through. You can come around to here. You have a little pocket here you can sit. You can come all the way to this side of CT. And it smokes off CT. Really great ult for, you know, lurking around heaven and whatnot. It's pretty great. And now for some really strong post-plant mollies. You know, usually you're going to plant here at default. And as you can see, my lovely assistant is standing off to the side a little bit. You know, that's about max range that you'd be able to defuse from. So we come over into B lobby. You see this little shed thing here. You get in the corner where this traffic cone is. And this sign right here has like a yellowish white border going around it. You aim right above this sign, like at this hole. And right in the middle of that yellowish white border. And left click. Your molly should bounce off and land right on top of the box. And as you can probably hear in a second here, he dies. It's a really, really strong molly. Alright, now as you can see, my lovely assistant is standing here, about to, quote-unquote, defuse the spike. You know, usually you're going to plant over by default, but every now and then you want to plant over there for the safety of it, or, you know, the convenience of it for certain characters. So if you come over here, jump on top of this box in B lobby, look straight down while hugging the back wall, and line up with the edge of this box. Now you're going to want to look up, and you see this orange sign with the car on it. Line up with the headlight on the car and go just off to the left of the sign, about there, and fire. It should go in between those signs, bounce off right there, and land right back here. Really great defuse molly. That's all the lineups I have for you today. I know this is a long video, but this character is extremely underutilized and not explored deeply at all. I believe Viper has the potential to be very strong at even the highest levels of play once developed further. And I'm just here to aid in that, honestly. I hope this guide helped you, and now, the bloopers and extras. You line up so you're at the top of this little nub in the ceiling here. So we get a good gun and show you here. Again, middle of the glass panes, straight up until you're level with that nub.
Poison orb emitting.
I left my smoke.
Make them big.
Works. Yeah, I'm gonna hold like I'm covering cat.
Gotcha. I'm so mad I did that. If you come up here on top of these stairs, line up with the middle and go over to this wall. Hello, lovely assistant. He's hiding. You line up with the middle of this beam, and you go straight up until you're level with this corner of this the tower in the background. So again, middle of the beam, straight up into there.
Poison orb emitting.
I left my smoke again. That's going in the blooper reel. I hate it here.
Alright guys, I got this.
I was literally like, easy peasy, you jump, right click. And next for garage, as you can see, my lovely assistant is playing with the spike. You can obviously set this up in the buy phase, but if you come over here, there's a little corner that you can get kind of locked in. And you look up and you see this little yellow dot. You put your crosshair in the middle of that and left click. I actually managed to fuck it up. That's more impressive than me landing it.
Well, if my team didn't currently have a Sage, Jet, or Raze, we would have already lost the game.
Wait, you actually can't grab it? Even if you press E on it?
Oh. There's like a frame where it popped up.
God. That's so stupid.
If I aim right like this, I can grab it.
This shit looks so stupid on my screen. No! She looks like fucking Mufasa falling off the cliff. Well, that one's not floating. What the fuck, game? Did it bounce off your face?
Which means it might have hit. I wish I was recording. Because, like, I was on my camera and I saw it coming over the wall and I followed it the whole way and when I went down, it bounced off Cypher's head and just jumped off to the right. Alright, I'm gonna move into the corner so I don't fuck it up.
Oh, God. That's going in the goddamn blooper reel.
God damn it.